now it's saying it's streaming, so I'm just checking to see. I had like the buttons messed up. It still didn't do the opening, so I'm gonna have to go over here and do my own opening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on. Excuse me. If it's good, it's good. I don't know. All right. Question of the day. Who is Historian Yuval Harari? All right? Harari. I'm making sure that I say it right. All right. So we're going to play a video that's on YouTube. Right? Let me see if I can show you the video real quick where I'm getting it from. All right, hold on. I ain't even gonna go mess with it. I told you I did some rearranging, so I'm making sure where everything is right now. So I'm gonna leave it alone. You go. No matter of fact, I can do it this way. Hold on a minute. Y'all can see it this way. Hold on. All right. Okay, so that was the source of where I'm getting it. Also put it in a description. So if you're looking for it, you can go get it yourself. Make sure it wasn't edited, wasn't doctored in any way, because if it was, it wasn't by me, right? So we're gonna get into this. Over here. Bring up this. That's the main image. All right. So let's get into it. Now, he's been called up to the stage, right? Given some accolades. Matter of fact, I'll let you. I was trying to save us some time, but I'll give you the accolades as well. All right? Now listen to this young lady right here.
Yuval Noah Harari. My name's Gillian Tett. I'm the US Managing Editor of the Financial Times.
Editor. New York Times. Understand, I always tell you, understand the players. Understand the players. Editors. You know, we overlook the writers, sure, in the articles, but are we really paying attention to the editors, right?
Now, there are not many historians who would be put on the main stage of the Congress Center of the World Economic Forum.
No, I wouldn't.
Sandwiched between Angela Merkel and Macron. I think there are even fewer who could fill the room almost as much as Angela Merkel, and almost none who would have the experience as we were waiting in the green room, and Angela Merkel came through, Chancellor Merkel came through, she took care to stop, go up to Yuval and introduce herself and say, "I've read your book." Pretty amazing. But
right? She basically, I don't know if it's, it's kind of glitchy. So she basically saying, the chancellor, another female, keep this in mind. You have a female editor, right, who's hyped, stoked. She speaks, descriptive of it, but she's still stoked as well, right? The chancellor is stoked. Oh, I read your books. Listen to what is being said.
Yuval Harari has written two very important books which have really shaped the debate, not just inside governments, but inside many businesses and many non-governmental organizations too. One of them, I imagine most of you read, Sapiens. Hands up who in the room has read Sapiens? Okay, well, that is pretty
See
impressive.
the hands. See the
His
hands.
second book, Homo Deus, took those themes
Homo
of Sapiens,
Deus.
looking at the history of mankind, threw it into the future, and looked at the issue of digital. He's got
Homo Deus. Going through the history of man. Wow. Seeing its future. Always told you you got city planners, right? That's why a lot of people overlook their condition, right? They think that their condition is something that is just happened to bestow on them. Like it's just their misfortune, their parents' misfortune, their grandparents' misfortune. No, it's not like that. Because when you listen to certain people and you put the pieces together, you understand what they're saying, right? Right? So, while you're looking one way, don't never underestimate and start looking another. Not saying that the villain ain't over there, but understand the puppet masters, right? So I'm gonna show you the puppet masters at work, right? That I'm gonna give you an understanding of what we're looking at afterwards. All right, go back up here. Let the young lady finish speaking.
a third book coming out this summer, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, which is going to look at the present. But what he's going to be talking
21
about today
lessons
is something that actually
for
Chancellor
the
Merkel touched
future.
on in her own speech, which is the question of data. And what do we do about data today? His ideas are very provocative.
right? Now I know me, right? I'm not gonna since I didn't map it out, the whole thing. I just have it in my head. I know I'm not gonna remember to bring this up. So I'm gonna just say it now. I would rather say it in the end. So when you bring it up, make sure like if you just point out this simple fact at the end. Let them watch it and then point out this fact, right? Ask yourself, who's the one ask yourself who's the one asking the question first, right? It's the chancellor. She's asking the question, right? Because remember, she came out to speak. Her concerns is data and these type of things. He's somebody with a plot, right? Or the mad scientist, presenting his unveiling his plan while already letting you know there's nothing you can do about it. And this video is 4 years old, right? I'm presenting it now. Shots has already been taken. People already, most of the people you be like, well, you should have known. And I'll get into what this is all really about, right? So, and you're gonna understand what I've been saying the whole time.
Very alarming, and something that all of you should pay very close attention to now. Professor Harari, Professor Yuval, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, hello everybody. Let me just have 1 minute to get friends with this computer and make sure everything is okay. And can I have a bit more light on the audience so I can see the faces and not just speak to a darkness? Thank you. So, I want to talk to you today about the future of our species and really the future of life. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens.
Now, again, pardon me, reconstruction. So I'm, trying to, you know, get the show done while avoiding as enough, distractions as possible. So he's talking about data programming and these things. I'm telling you in advance. That way, while you watching, you look for his actions, right? Watch how he delivers. Two, right? Pay attention to all of the scenes, right? See the little symbols, right? Understand. Are you being programmed, right? He's opening up some water, seems like, but it, psh, right? Because he's opening water. So pay attention to these things. Don't just listen to the message. Understand the messenger. Understand them. You know what I mean? Like, don't just embrace this and go, ooh. All right? And I'm going to explain as he goes on.
Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees. Because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds. These will be the main products of the economy.
They have already learned to control the mind. They prove that all the time. I tell you, with the rituals of putting out certain things and having a group of people start promoting that, and then you have a shift, is how this happens. And it happens by you taking either side, but either way is going to push these agendas. Right? So he's not telling you basically everything that's in a speculative is actually an operative, meaning that most people around us work in the speculative. So they'll deliver this message back and yo, you think, right? But in reality, it is a reality. That's the reality. That it is already a reality. And listen, he's going to tell you.
The 21st century economy, not textiles and vehicles and
Human
weapons,
bodies.
but bodies and brains and minds. Now, how exactly will the future masters of the planet look like? This will be decided by the people who own the data. Those who control the data control the future not just of humanity.
Understand, right? You have Google, all of the stuff that you see right now. He who controls it controls everybody. He controls how the information gets out, even this information. Because depending on what hashtags you put in, who's going to see it, whether you have to manipulate it and put in stuff that is not there. So then it shows you as a person, because he's going to get into all of this. He's going to show you.
But the future of life itself. Because today, data is the most important asset in the world. In ancient times, land was the most important asset. And if too much land became concentrated in too few hands, humanity split into aristocrats and commoners.
Right? So, before you go any further, right, I gotta ask the question to you: who is, right, Yuval Harari? Who is he? Who is this guy right here? Right? Who is he? He's giving you, okay. He's a Jewish historian, right? A Jewish historian giving you their history. He's a Jewish historian. He's not a world historian or, whatever. You know what I mean? This is what he studies. An Israeli historian. So, the reason why I say that, as he's talking, go separate anything you know about the New Testament. So if you are indoctrinated into Christianity, right, go into the Bible. It's going to be hard for you because you have already seen Jesus and all of that stuff. So this is going to be hard, right? But go to it and read the story on its own. Read the history of what it is telling you. Understand the players of Judaism. Who are the most important players in Judaism? Right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to ask the question for you. Who are the major figures of Judaism? All right. So, important figures. All right. Important figures. You got Abraham, Moses, right? King Solomon, Isaac, Jacob, David, Jesus Christ. I don't know what this is because this can't be. What the hell? That was just nonsense. Um, oh, this is not even. This is not even a fact. Um, who were the most important figures? Um, table of content. Boom, boom, boom. So he's saying Aaron, brother Moses, Abigail. Okay, understand. Amen. Still, no. Okay. Um, the women of Judaism. Okay. let's get into this right here. All right. I'll take you away. So, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Oh, close you. All right, okay. So, according to traditional Judaism, women are endowed with a greater degree of bina, traditional understanding, intelligence than men. The rabbis infer this from the fact that woman was built, Genesis 2:22, rather than formed, Genesis 2:7. And the Hebrew root of build has the same constant as the word bina. So, while you were looking at certain things in Judaism, understand the totality of what's on the table. So, when you read the Bible, what do you read? Not what you was told. Have you ever read the Bible is what I ask most people. Because if you truly read the Bible, the Old Testament, we ain't got to go through everything, just the Old Testament, you would understand the plot, the whole scheme. This is how you would understand Jesus. Jesus being the switch from the lunar calendar and the solar calendar. The switch. And so we would have to understand Judaism. Truly understand what it is and how it works. While you are praising these okay. Now, it says the woman, the role of women in Judaism is determined by the Hebrew Bible, the oral law by custom, factors, custom, and by cultural factors. Although the Hebrew Bible is Bible and rabbinic lecture mentions various females role models, religious law treats women differently in various circumstances. And we will be getting into all of this, right? And from this, you will understand. So I need you, I need you to take the time to point out the Bible that you've never read. Not the Bible, and I can tell who've read the Bible, truly like sat down and read it with nobody telling them anything. It's like, just imagine reading a Tom Clancy book. Erase any understanding that you know, and you will have in your hand the Trojan horse. The last is a new Trojan horse being designed, so they're destroying the Bible. It's a new Trojan horse, but it's still going to be under that same understanding in order to keep the people in place. Because remember, they just livestock. That's why I say to people, man, you just cattle. And why they designed certain ways and certain people got money for promoting it. Right? You might see a couple of different groups too, right? Deltas, and you got Hova in them, right? But to understand what that's saying as well, the vagina symbol, God, Hova. This is the symbol that you are presenting with for God. Because one has more intelligence than the other. And so from it, they can prove it by this type of action. But I'm not saying that in its totality, because if you understand and you read, or you understood what I just read at least, hey, let me give it to you again. Right? Right here. Hold on. My fault. All of this right here. Right? Just read all of this. Right? Bang. It says women in Judaism. So you understand right here. Right? Boom. All of this over here. You can look it up. Wikipedia. All right. So it's just what people just simply don't do. They don't understand. You can say whatever you saying about Christianity, but understand it came out of Judaism, correct? Islam, it came out of Judaism, correct? I mean, this is what I'm understanding. That both of those religions, right, groups, way of lives, whatever the case may be, came out of Judaism, if I'm correct. Okay. In today's time, we see one as being the oppressor of women, right? She's not allowed to show herself. She must, keep this. All of these things that went out upon the world Now you see it being put upon the man. Now he's the one who has to wear the veil and all of that. You know what I mean? Through right now, you got the fezzes. But once they get them used to having these garments on these heads, then they gonna hit the veil on them. You know what I mean? Real spill. Real spill. You might think I'm joking with you right now. You know what I mean? But understand what you about to finish watching. So I'm giving you who talked first. He's up now. He's wrote two books, The Sapiens, right? And what is it? I forgot the other one. Neo Sapien, right? Yeah, Neo Sapiens, right? So then he's going into the new book where it's like 21 rules of the future. We went into city planners. We went into setting up structures and making these symbols and things already available for the switch. You see the the compass in the square everywhere, right? I told you that represents the vagina, right? I told you what the lodge is. I told you these people, the first or whatever, as they start being the vocals of this movement, they already, you know what I mean, bound. They are bound into that system. And so they will groom others into that system, offspring, all of that. Because especially if you might had a feeling of you know what I mean towards men, which they groomed in, right? So you got the Karens going into these spots. I told you the power of suggestion. I broke down the meanings of the keystone, right? If you had paid attention to stuff, you would have known what that meant. I break it down in shows, give you the message and how you're supposed to pass this out. That's why man was supposed to not been watching TV and all of that, right? Because you don't understand. The role of women in Judaism is determined by the Hebrew Bible and the oral law, which is not in the Bible. Can you think about Freemasonry? Think about how it is delivered and what it is about the oral and the traditional laws, right? By customs and cultural factors. Although the Hebrew Bible and I'm sorry, I start once what it is. I realized that once I start smoking, I start babbling and shit. I realized that. I just gotta accept it for what it is. I think it's cool smoking and chatting. But they're trying to be professional. Do this shit correct. Smoke after every show. 'cause I had the smoke and joke thing. So then I thought I could do it like that if I'm working with people. You know what I mean? That's why. Hold on. That's why you see that whole, let's smoke right now. Juice wanna, scout sauna. All of that. Well, this part, all of that smoke part. Is trying to do the smoke and jokes, but I can't do them both. So, like I said, if I was in a conversation indulging with somebody in this, it would be different. Like I could do it then because it's me not dictating it. It's like, you'll hear, just read this right here, man. Cause I know what it says, you know what I'm saying, but I become a babbling idiot and shit. So, like I'm like Aaron, no. I'm like Moses who needs an Aaron, like that, that vocal to get it out. So, like I said, to understand the Bible and to understand the players and what you are truly reading, this is why they could go into the church under the guise of one, oh yeah, the man, but really it was, to dictate and say falsehoods that really wasn't in the Bible. Yeah, one man, one husband, and I mean, then after that, now you got it was, a total switch now. It was a grooming process through time. Like I said, walking into the Masonic Lodge, you would know it represents the vagina. This is, the Judaism of the secrets and, all of that. Like I said, understand the woman's role in Judaism. And if this is the foundation of Christianity and Islam, it will give you an understanding of all of the players and the conflicts and everything that comes from this, right? Just understand them. Don't let somebody dictate, the Bible and none of this to you. If this is what's controlling the people, which we'll get into in a second with this fella's conversation. Right? Let's get back into it. All right.
Then in the modern age, in the last 2 centuries, machinery replaced land as the most important asset. And if too many of the machines became concentrated in too few hands, humanity split into classes, into capitalists and proletariats. Now data is replacing.
Understand though, this fella right here, Judaism through religion has been moving the people through a system that comes out of this system. And then you'll understand the great reset and how they're buying the time, right? But Remember, there's a system. All eyes on you. Made your numbers low. Got you bumped off, this, that, and the third. Now, the only way to maneuver is to have the middle ground. Like that middle ground of people will be like the new area for cloak and dagger missions. Because one is not allowed to question that. So that will be the new area of cloak and dagger. You know, if you look at old movies and you look at the promotion of this ambiguous future where everybody is wearing the same colored clothes and everything is just regular. And you gotta wonder, is this like the that safe area? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. For me, I just take everything and, evaluate it. But let's listen to what this man has to say again.
Machinery is the most important asset. And if too much of the data becomes concentrated in too few hands, humanity will split.
Google, right? Clear Channel, Amazon, few holding all, YouTube, and all of these outlets. How we're switching from like TV being the outlet to these new outlets taking over, and who's in control of those outlets and what do those outlets control? Like, you might know Netflix for Netflix, but what did Netflix make its subsidiaries? Think about Clear Channel and its subsidiaries, all of those channels. Think about what Universal, you know what I mean, and all of its subsidiaries. All of them companies that you know as household names, but they're all really this company. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and all of the Mountain Dews and Sprites and all of those under those two major companies. So they come under many names, but it's really those two companies. Right? Think about it. It's those companies. It's just like Republican and Democrat. Pepsi and Coca-Cola, one blue, one red. Bloods, Crips, one blue, one red. National League, American League, one blue, one red. When you look at the symbol, one blue, one red, right? Right here, right? Not on this one, but right? Right? One blue, one red. And so when you hear the chaka and all of that with the color coding, you don't know that you are being programmed. Color coding. And so they're telling you the steps into the future. They control the information. And he who holds the information, the data, controls the people. They went out with a objective, controlling the land and controlling the people. Everything that you've seen has always been built on that. And so you look at that coming out of that structure. Oh, so you go out and we'll go into the plot, the scheme, right? Bring you up here.
Split not into classes. It will split into species, into different species. Now, why is data so important? It's important because we've reached the point when we can hack not just computers, we can hack human beings and other organisms. There is a lot of talk these days about hacking computers and email accounts and bank accounts and mobile phones, but actually we are gaining the ability to hack human beings. Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power, and you need a lot of data, especially biometric data. Not data.
Many of people, right, especially black people, under the premise of reparations and, oh, this is why you gotta watch the woke community. Because I told you it's a communist community, right? So they're gonna get you to relinquish everything, right? So you're gonna play the 10-year update game, right? On videos and stuff. I mean YouTube. I mean Facebook and YouTube and all of this stuff. I don't care. I'm older. I'm just telling you what's going on. What he's explaining to you himself, not just what I'm saying, right? Because you already have the manipulation of people, right? You showed the manipulation of in genes, so you know that, right? That you can manipulate that. This is what he's saying. You've seen the whole movement in Germany. All of the distractions that you might say, but the number one thing that came out of Germany was those experiments, those bodily opening up the woman when it was born, right? All of that. So all of this, and to gather these people, right? You could say, whatever you want, the Jews, right? At that time, they used them, as the experiment. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like in America, they used the blacks. The same time, you gotta remember, Tuskegee experiments, all of this stuff was taking place. So it wasn't like in America was also funding that. And there were people, on the other side funding that too. So then you gotta wonder what was the main objective of it. Majority of what you see were science situations when it came to Germany. And its claim was having this superhuman, right? If I'm correct, and I'll be getting into that in a second.
Data about what I buy or where I go, but data about what is happening inside my body and inside my brain. Until today, nobody had the necessary computing power and the necessary data to hack humanity. Even if the Soviet KGB or the Spanish Inquisition followed.
This is 4 years ago. Keep in mind, this is 4 years ago. I just dropped this show yesterday about the war in Ukraine and the Jewish connection. I talked about spying. I talk about them being the head of the tech world. Even the Jews have a problem because they are spying on their own people, spying on Americans, spying on India, spying on Pakistanis. He's coming to the ladies, right? Most they already sold them with the insecurity. Oh, he's doing this, know where he at, right? Put that aside. We ain't gonna tell you how they using the women yet, right? But to understand, he's a historian of Israel, an Israeli historian. So he's an historian of Judaism. He started his story with telling you about man's conquest and how he kept shifting it and the identities always splitting. Keep going through time. So now he's laying out this new groundwork, talking points. And through time, you'll hear these people using talking points to shift society.
You're around everywhere, 24 hours a day, watching everything you do, listening to everything you say. Still, they didn't have the computing power and the biological knowledge necessary to make sense of what was happening inside your
Biological, right? They keep getting you to give your DNA in. Give your DNA. Find out your heritage. Give in the DNA. Find out your heritage. Then you look and they show you this chart telling you where humanity come from and all of this to gather this information. They've already shown how they can control you. They convince you Popeye's chicken. And this is in this time to show they bring things in to show, yeah, we can control them. The data in everybody's hand. In everybody's hand. Nobody's hand is immune from it. That's why people look at me strange when I go places and I'm like, yo, you know time of this? I don't keep your phone. I don't keep your phone. We about to go to the, y'all saying it's the Great Reset, right? We going to the Dark Ages anyway, right? I understand how to read the stars. I understand that. I understand all of the stuff that's going to control the people. So I'm trying to just tell enough people before it's too late. Understand the plot. One day I'ma just say it in like this way where it'll all bombard and it'll sound like a conspiracy theorist. I just want to make sure when I'm in just regular relaxed conversation that this is where people know this information is based on. That's why I'm doing it like this. And so I could get like, you know, like people to engage with and stuff like that. I figured, hey, let me put out the information so people won't assume that it's this natural attempt to be combative. No, it's presenting information that you clearly are not privy to. So since I'm giving it to you, you assume that I'm just being combative. But in reality, it's no. This is what controls society. I'm a part of society. He's a historian, right, of his people. I'm a historian of his people as well. You understand what I'm saying? So as he's talking, I'm agreeing with him. I'm like, yeah, okay, all you don't hear me disagreeing with none of this. None of this am I disagreeing with. You don't see me sitting here disagreeing with nothing because he's telling the truth. You know, in a speculative way at points. Right now, he's laying it all down as actual fact. This is what we can do.
body and brain and to understand how you feel and what you think and what you want. But this is now changing because of two simultaneous revolutions. On the one hand, advances in computer science, and especially the rise of machine learning and AI, are giving us the necessary computing power. And at the same time, advances in biology, and especially in brain science, are giving us the necessary understanding, biological understanding. You can really summarize 150 years of biological research since Charles Darwin in 3 words. Organisms are algorithms. This is the big insight of the modern life sciences, that organisms
He's saying for 150 years, this system has been set up. You know, what he said? Hold on a minute, because 150 years don't sound right. He said Charles Darwin. Well, yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on.
Charles Darwin in 3 words.
Hold on.
Organisms, and at the same time, advances in biology, and especially in brain science, are giving us the necessary understanding, biological understanding.
Brain science to give them the necessary understanding. Putting it through TV, right? Using a certain group of people, whether it been the man at one time, the woman at another, regardless, right? Giving them this ability while monitoring and seeing what is taking place. Understanding. Understanding.
You can really summarize 150 years of biological research since Charles Darwin in 3 words. Organisms are algorithms. This is the big insight of the modern life sciences, that organisms, whether viruses or bananas or humans, they are really just biochemical algorithms. And we are learning how to decipher these algorithms. Now, when the 2 revolutions merge, when the infotech revolution merges with the biotech revolution, what you get is the ability to hack human beings. And maybe the most important invention for the merger of infotech and biotech is the biometric sensor that translates biochemical processes in the body and the brain into electronic signals that a computer can store and analyze. And once you have enough such biometric information and enough computing power, you can create algorithms that know me better than I know myself. And humans really don't know themselves very
Knowledge of knowledge of self. That's what he's basically saying, right? We don't have knowledge of self, trigger words. And so within these trigger words of not having this knowledge, right? We also have people who were geared to go on Clubhouse. Listen to how you should go and get your DNA tested, and this is why they caused the confusion of we not black and being aboriginal, and well, you should find out and go take the but then the DNA test ain't really, accurate, and it's just the right. It's the gathering of the information to push over to somewhere else. You also gave him a connection through your relatives and your tree to those who've been plotting the takeover and have been performing the takeover from the beginning. Just to say God, to say the word God and reference it to the sky is how they know they got you. They came into your land and introduced you into something you did not know. Didn't even know God. That's why they said, we were a godless nation. Because when you talked of it, we didn't know what the hell I was. What are you talking about? They whooped you, beat you, gave you these other things, and now that's what you believe. Believe is to accept something without knowing. I have never accepted anything without knowing. I have taken information that I wasn't sure of, didn't know if it was accurate inside there. I've taken that information and walked away. And that's how I found the truth. Because I didn't know if that information was correct. I didn't believe it, but I did take information that I did not know, did not pass it around as if it was a fact. Matter of fact, whenever I take information that I don't know, I make sure to stress the fact that this is most likely bullshit. Or I don't know, I'm going to look into it because I know these parts are actual facts. But for me not to co sign it, most likely it's some bullshit in it. And so I'm sitting back and I'm just going on my journey. See, for me, I tell most people all of that information because the minute they talk to me, they misunderstand why we are in a conflict of conversation. We are in a conflict of conversation because you are not privy to this information. You're not bold enough to look because they told you not to. You're scared of living and dying. Imagine somebody gave you this information and you found out that, wow. But then you find out that they was robbing that from you too. It was the great land grab, everything. We want it all. We want it all. So when I give this information, sure, a lot of times it comes off as combative because you have people who actually know what I am saying because it's out there. The information is there. They'll give you certain things to lead you right to it, but put it under different things because it's the craft of double talk. So anyone who can figure things out, I just happen to be a lyricist. I write real well, you know, not to promote my book or anything, but You know, I'm more, to be honest with you, I'm more of a lyricist, you know, storytelling in that. Like, so I'm great in that. So from that, it allowed me to go outward. So like my thing is I didn't want to be a person who promoted what they wanted me to promote, right? Even though that craft only was allowing for that to come about. That craft was only allowing that to come about. So when you hear melanated, you know, this is a new craft that's going to be coming about. Being able to use those words, flip it and bounce it, but it's still going to be shifting the people. You'll understand as we go. Like he's explaining to you what their science is. He's not telling you. You understand what I'm saying? He's not like he's not telling you. He's telling you. He's telling you, yo, look, this is what we doing. This is how it's going down. And then he goes into what we trying to do or what this other place can do. They welcomed him when he walked in the door. The woman who gives birth is being presented this of the child. Understand this. So not saying it's not a one-way street. It's a system. It's a system. So when I see lands that resist, I just gotta respect them. I gotta respect them because they are not allowing that. I wish I could get inside there, but I'm already poisoned. I'm touched. Even though my mind is alert and clear of it. You know, like of that fact. I still couldn't go into none of that land because I'm still poisoned. I'm like the bird, you know, that's been touched. You know what I mean? That's why the indigenous, you know, was eliminated and removed, especially if they were non-negotiable. Australians, the Pickneys and all of that were non-negotiable. Nah, we're not get out of here. And so you see what they did. Until they found some who they can indoctrinate into that system. You tell me inside there who's prominent within those people and you can see the system. Just look at who's prominent in those lands. And you understand. But it doesn't really matter because they all working for this system that he's saying keep evolving.
To give an example, when I was 21, I finally realized that I was gay after living for several years in denial. And this is not exceptional. A lot of gay men live in denial for many years. They don't know something very important about themselves. Now imagine the situation in 10 or 20 years when an algorithm can tell any teenager exactly where he or she is on the gay-straight spectrum, and even how malleable this position is. The algorithm tracks your eye movements, your blood pressure, your brain activity, and tells you who you are. Now, maybe you personally wouldn't like to make use of such an algorithm. But maybe you find yourself in some boring birthday party of somebody from your class at school, and one of your friends has this wonderful idea that I've just heard about this cool new algorithm that tells you your sexual orientation, and wouldn't it be a lot of fun if everybody just takes turns testing themselves on this algorithm as everybody else is watching and commenting? What would you do? Would you just walk away? And even if you walk away, and even if you keep hiding from your classmates or from yourself, you will not be able to hide from Amazon and Alibaba and the secret police. As you surf the internet, as you watch videos or check your social feed, the algorithms will be monitoring your eye movements, your blood pressure, your brain activity, and they will know. They could tell Coca-Cola that if you want to sell this person some fuzzy, sugary drink, don't use the advertisement with the shirtless girl. Use the advertisement with the shirtless guy. You wouldn't even know that this was happening, but they will know. And this information will be worth billions. Once we have algorithms that can understand me better than
Now, keep in mind how he keeps switching to a speculative, right? Keep that in mind. He's switching to a speculative conversation. He already told you this is what he has. We can do boom, boom, boom. Now, imagine you have this. Now, perhaps this is why he had to come out. Because he said, he said he was living in denial. That's how we started it. I was living in denial, like many men do, yada, 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 right? Then he said he put you in a position to would you feel comfortable in that situation? Sure. But they already got it linked up to watch you. They already had Amazon. They know that, hey, listen, we got your Amazon. We got your whatever, right? So keep this in mind because as he go, I want you to remember this is Judaism. They're the ones when you saying God and all of that, you're going back to them. He's telling you their quest. Look around. You tell me if that quest with the duality of blue and red and all of this, if that has not been shifting the people, have not one side went out to take, the gray, remember grays and the blues and the reds and the blues and right? Keep in mind who's always been there. And he just told you what the quest always was. The whole time, what you had in your hand was the plot. spoken in a third person. Speaking to somebody while acting as if it's something else, somewhere else. Hey, can I speak to you for a minute about? Next thing you know, you ain't got, they got. But those are bottom feeders. Those are bottom feeders. Believe me. They don't care about your population. At this point, they are removing. So salvation and saving your soul, and better pay attention what these street wars are about. Islam, Judaism, Christianity, right? Understand what those gangs are still affiliated with. When you think of gangster disciples and the six-pointed star, when you think about People Nation and El Rukin, and you still dealing with that system. So they've been there the whole time. You try to find yourself in that. And as long as you try to identify yourself in that, I can control you. That's just one thing. I told you about the woman, right? I told you. Think about Solomon. Everybody gives Solomon praise, right? All this wisdom. Oh, smart. Not smart enough to not go against God because of the multiple women who had him worshiping other gods. So the women around you, whether it be, whatever, can have you shifting you is the real lesson. So then you have another book that warns you and keeps things at a balance. But was that system set up as well? You gotta ask yourself, pardon me here, right? You gotta ask yourself this, man. If you don't ask yourself this, who's gonna ask it, right? We always talking this knowledge of self and right, all of these triggers, and we don't even know. When I say we, I'm just saying as a people. I don't say I use it. You know what I mean? But as a people to relate, right?
I understand myself. They could predict my desires, manipulate my emotions, and even take decisions on my behalf. And if we are not careful, the outcome might be the rise of digital dictatorships. In the 20th century, democracy generally outperformed dictatorship because democracy was better at processing data and making decisions. We are used to thinking about democracy and dictatorship in ethical or political terms. But actually, these are two different methods to process information. Democracy processes information in a distributed way. It distributes the information and the power to make decisions between many institutions and individuals. Dictatorship, on the other hand, concentrates.
Right? Now, question, right? He said democracy, right? And dictatorship, right? Or democracy, Democrats, and Republicans. Take those names away. Look at who's affiliated with them, right? And you'll see, right, the war. It's a female Democratic, right? Republican dominant male dictatorship, right? Toxic male. We look at um Donnie as our like spokesperson. Do you want to be that to shift the people? The Mandingo, Old Dog, Nino Brown, and introducing Nino Brown and all of them doing this stupidness. This, you know what I mean? Like I said, if I had a meme up where it was asking, if you was gonna ride with like, and it had Old Dog, it had Doughboy, it had Nino Brown, and it had Bishop. I said I'd rather roll with Doughboy than all of them. Basically because Old Dog is a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? He was doing everything for clout. A lot of people might, like I said, since I'm the type of person to get busy, you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to have, that system engulf me. So I was going to give it to anybody that I knew was sent in that system. You know? Because I'm here. I had to be here, not because I wanted to engage in that. It's the revolution, baby. I'm for the revolution. And at this point, like I said, I'm just a black Republican, man. If Republicans will let me in, and I could just say I'm black in front of it because I'm black, I'm a Republican. Not because I want to be, it's just that I can't see me I already came out of that democratic system. I should almost killed me. Now I'm not with the democratic system at all. Not now. I mean, ever. I've never was. I told you, I used to tell my grandmother, well, we used to have conversations. She's way more smarter than me. So, in fact, actually, she told me, right? Because I was saying that our vote don't count. And so she was the one who broke down, the College of Electors, electorals, and shit like that. Electoral college and shit. As far as giving insight to what I was saying. That's one thing that I loved about my grandmother. She loved anybody in search of information. In search of information, not having information. Having information don't mean a damn thing because you don't know if that information is right or wrong. So to search of information means that you always looking to find out if it's right or wrong. Two different things. You know what I mean? So providing me with information to solidify what I was saying, so it wouldn't just be me just blurting shit out. And then if you having a conversation, and even if somebody mentions that, you wouldn't know. So like I said, I'm not eloquent in speech, but I am well aware of, what is coming out my mouth, or better yet, what's coming out of other people's mouths. You know? So like I said, there's a system that is set up to take you down. Understand it. Understand what you are up against, and you will understand it all. So I give it to you so you can understand. So you ain't got to complain. You ain't got to wonder why, you know, it's the war. It's a controlled war. Oh, they'll tell you, oh, yeah, Eastern Stars, and nah, nah. It was built on that. Look, you seen when he came out, who talked first, who he was presenting his his information to, right? Oh, let me bring this back up. All right. So let's bring him. Pardon me here. All right. Um, let's bring him back up. All right. Finish his chit chat.
All information and power in one place. Now, given the technological conditions of the 20th century, distributed data processing worked better than centralized data processing, which is one of the main reasons why democracy outperformed dictatorship, and why, for example, the US economy outperformed the Soviet economy. But this is true only under the unique technological conditions of the 20th century. In the 21st century, new technological revolutions, especially AI and machine learning, might swing the pendulum in the opposite direction. They might make centralized data processing far more efficient than distributed data processing. And if democracy cannot adapt to these new conditions, then humans will come to live under the rule of digital dictatorships. And already at present, we are seeing the formation of more and more sophisticated surveillance regimes throughout the world, not just by authoritarian regimes, but also by democratic governments. The US, for example, is building a global surveillance system, while my home country of Israel is trying to build a total surveillance regime in the West Bank. But control of data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. by hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago. For 4 billion years, nothing fundamental changed in the basic rules of the game of life. All of life, for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some God above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds, the IBM cloud.
So he says the cloud. When we when you take those conspiracy theorists, right? This is why I'm a conspiracy revealist. Two different things. You see, the conspiracy theorists you could attack because he's not providing you any connections. He's 70% right. But since he's not giving you the connection, he becomes the tool of shifting the people without getting answers. It's like the New World Order book, right? What is his name? William Cooper, right? Behold of the Pale White Horse, right? So you would take him, you read his book. Yo, he told you. No, he put it in your head to groom you into the plot. He never answered anything. He just placed a time, a situation, thing. He never told you who, how. He just told you what, when, where. But who and how is the two of the most important. What the hell are you telling me what? But you ain't telling me who's gonna do it. You gonna tell me what somebody is gonna do, but you ain't telling me who? Think about that. Imagine somebody walk up to you right? And tell you somebody is gonna shoot you. You'd be like, who? Like, I can't tell you that. Oh, those people, this got you looking all around. That's the trigger, the placing. It's ambiguous. So the conspiracy theorist is 9 times out of 10, like I said, 70% right because he's on that team. He's there to shift. This man from Israel who studies history of his people told you their journey. Told you their journey. Gave you a book of random kings, put him under this title, and left you on a mission, not figuring out where they went in and did the damage. A whole line of damage done in a story that you thinking is good. You know? So he's making references, the satanic, right? He's making references to the Bible, thinking that, the Tower of Babel and how they didn't need. He's making references to the technologies that set you up. The cloud, head in the cloud, heavens, right? The apple, the knowledge of good and evil. Not the apple, because that's what it was told to you. But the real fruit was the knowledge of good and evil. The internet, right? So that apple is of that. Hold on, right? It's of knowledge. And he's just told you, he who holds the data is playing God. So the whole time, playing God through a system of chicanery, of keeping this going. In order to keep the shift, because they're foolish. They believe in foolish things. You give them foolishness and you give a group of people that's foolish as well because they're working in the unit. So say it's the pastor and they got the traveling pastor and all of that. So he's building up his way and getting, you understand what I mean? So they bought into that. So then you got a new system being set up. And they go around from camps to camps and talk but he's telling you he does not believe in that, but makes the reference to it. So who the one who's claiming this most is telling you he doesn't even believe and is basically mocking that system.
Cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of. to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry.
Hold on, I'm about to bring it back up for you real quick. All right? Because, like I said, pay attention to the things that's going to put you into this trance. Right? Let's go back over here. Now, as I was saying that, right? I mean, as we was watching this, I hope we're taking time to understand what we are seeing, right? Inside, the background. Never take any of this. This is your master hypnotist, should we say. Right? Should we say if we feel comfortable, right? Let's play this again.
Of life 4 billion years ago.
It,
For 4 billion
notice how
years,
this is in the
nothing
background.
fundamental changed in the basic rules of the game of life. All of life for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection
As above, as below. Right? So the problems of man, right? They are playing God. Or not playing God. They're showing that they're God by being able to manipulate the people and keep them working for their ultimate goal. And to be able to do it with them doing it to themselves. To be able to do it and get them to do it to themselves. Even though they are all under it already. Like I said, through time, I got all of the information. So everything that I'm saying, it's not hard for you to go into a Masonic book, right? Look at the signs and symbols. Understand the speech that is given at the time you see the symbols. And you will understand those who are working the craft. Because it was already set inside of you. So he's breaking down how a system has already been set up. It's been rocking that way. Understand what he was saying about the gays, right? And how they will be able to weed them out. So while you have a system right now that's letting all of this take place, remember how this plays out in the Bible. Just remember how it all plays out in the Bible. Even though people might go, oh, they abandoned. No, no, no. You might be in the pit. This is the pit. America's the pit. You know what I mean? It's just this is where you prove you could do it. You know what I mean? You make a land to prove with this open liberties and all of that, right? Think about the story of Satan, right? Just okay, I give you yours. We gonna see what you can do with it. We gonna see if your system works. So then you have, the ISIS, the baby, the milk, right? All of that. So that system is set in place. But, you still have another system set up in order for people to still move in a certain way. Like I said that already, but here we go. Like I said, always keep in mind to what you see. And if you understand the signs and symbols of Freemasonry, then as you see them, you should know inside the book to simply go, wait a minute, go to the book and understand what you are seeing.
with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds. The IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution.
You heard it. You hear it. He's proclaiming the new gods. He's standing behind the new gods. They in your home. While every once in a while, very slightly giving a negative undertone. But he speaks of this with joy and pleasure. You understand what I'm saying? With joy and mama, it's like 2 hours I've been doing this show just through the clip that's a half an hour long.
And at the same time, science may enable life after being confined for 4 billion years to the limited realm of organic compounds. Science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm. So after 4 billion years of organic life shaped by natural selection, we are entering the era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. This is why the ownership of data is so important. If we don't regulate it, a tiny elite
Now, if I'm correct, right, you should be able to see, isn't this the symbol of the cabal? Right? Pardon me here. Cabal symbol. The cabal symbol. I hate having to type this shit in. Okay. Yeah, see, you know what the hell I was saying. Hold on. City. They acting funny with me, man. This symbol right here, anyway, right? That's the cabal, man. I just don't want to have to. You know what it is? Hold on, I got my keyboard right here. I'm fucking playing with myself. Hold on. All right. All right, hold on. Boom, boom. I forgot. I know the symbol. Anyway, um, that's Gilgamesh, right? Isn't that like the
May come
domination?
to control not just the future of human societies, but the shape of life forms in the future. So how to regulate the data, the ownership of data?
The time, the
We've had
sky.
10,000 years of experience regulating the
Look at
ownership of land.
the moon
We have
cycles
had a few
in the
centuries of
background.
experience regulating the ownership of industrial machinery. But we don't have much experience in regulating the ownership of data, which is
As he's talking, you notice he has the sky and the moon and all of those things in the background on over him on his side because he's telling you how he controlled the people. Remember, he was pointing up. They controlled the sky by allowing these people to set themselves up in the sky. Julius Caesar, um, Augustus. You understand what I'm saying? Jupiter, making it all this Greek and Roman civilization, right? When the shift came, that was the shift that came with it. So this is why you see this in the background.
apparently far more difficult because unlike land and unlike machinery, data is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It can move at the speed of light, and you can create as many copies of it as you want. So does the data about my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me or to some corporation or to the government or perhaps to the human collective?
What did he just do as he approached that situation? What did he do? Let me take it back for you real quick.
at the speed of light, and you can create as many copies of it
I mean, he's
as you
talking
want.
like he's God now.
So does the data about
God.
my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me, or to some corporation, or to the government, or perhaps to the human collective? At present, big corporations are
He
holding
opened it
much of the
again.
data,
You hear the all
and
of that
people are
again.
becoming worried about it.
From the same
But
one he already opened.
mandating governments to nationalize the data may curb the power of the big corporations only in order to give rise to digital dictatorships. And politicians really, many politicians at least, are like musicians. And the instrument they play on is the human emotional and biochemical system. A politician gives a speech, and there is a wave of fear all over the country. A politician tweets, and there is an explosion of anger and hate.
Didn't Bill Clinton come through with playing an instrument, right? Urban instrument, I guess you kind of look at it like, right? To understand the music and how it is used to manipulate the people, man, that's a part of it. Those are the chants. Those are chants attached to other things.
Hatred. Now, I don't think we should give these musicians more sophisticated instruments to play on. And I certainly don't think they are ready to be entrusted with the future of life in the universe. Especially as many politicians and governments seem incapable of producing meaningful visions for the future. And instead, what they sell the public are nostalgic fantasies about going back to the past. And as a historian, I can tell you two things about the past. First of all, it wasn't fun. You wouldn't like to really go back there. And secondly, it's not coming back.
Now, think about these communities, right? Especially the woke community, right? The women of gods, right? Oh, look, go look in the past. See right here? Keeping you in the past. So he's explaining to you some of the tactics used on you. That's why I tell people when you watching the TV shows and they're rewriting history, the trick, the scheme, place it in front of you and convince you it was already there. Now, I can honestly say there was a time, I actually used that myself for a reason of putting myself one place while having myself mentally in people's places, in people's minds. Like placing myself in people's minds one way while being reality somewhere else. So I understand, it's science, But this is on a giant scale, which is illegal in science. You cannot place imageries and or memories in people's heads. That's illegal. And that you can sue for. You know, so I just really, I'm about to wrap it up with y'all. Well, I'll give you a little, like a little bit more time. But on this issue, I actually got time, but I don't like holding people. I know they won't, stick around and watch this much to really even understand what is being said and played to them right now. So once again, let me bring this young fellow historian Yuval Harari. All right, let's get him to do his 1-2s.
So nostalgic fantasies really are not a solution. So who should own the data? I frankly don't know. I think the discussion has just begun. Most people, when they hear the talk about regulating data, they think about privacy, about shopping, about companies, corporations that know where I go and what I buy. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are much more important things at stake. So the discussion has hardly begun, and we cannot expect instant answers. We had better call upon our scientists, our philosophers, our lawyers, and even our poets, or especially our poets, to turn their attention to this big question. How do you regulate the ownership of data? The future, not just of humanity.
Why, out of all people, do you think he said the poets? Because within this system, you move the people through the comedians, the poets, and all of that. Think about how many comedians made jokes about there wouldn't even be no wars as females were presidents. Think about, or just in charge, they wouldn't, it would be more like, yeah, girl, and right? So you think about all of these setups through that system. Remember, Judaism is a system of written and oral traditions. Understand that even though it tells you that women are more intelligent, this is Judaism. Yes, what you hear the saying of women mature faster than men. They not talking about um physical per se, but how to use that development. Meaning that one, you see the development. The other one outside of this, on the lower half, like how would you Dudes don't run around in any type of way except now. You know, you see them with the pants because they became that through technology. So that's why I say yes. This is a great lawsuit, a great lawsuit. Image placing inside of people's minds is a crime.
The future of life itself may depend on the answer to this question. Thank you.
So, right? We look at this picture, right? We're looking at this picture. We see him holding the scepter in one hand, right? The sword in the other. All right, let me see if we can get the picture of Gilgamesh. 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 All right. So, they give me a whole bunch of cartoon shit. Gilgamesh. No. So I guess somebody is using it as a name in a cartoon. There we go. Gilgamesh Ecuador. All right. So let me bring down some pictures just to show you. So now they got all of this shit clogged up with a bunch of damn cartoon stuff. Now I just said Gilgamesh and Ecuador, and they showing me, this. Gilgamesh cartoon. No. Um, okay. I'm trying to see. Hold on. Y'all could watch it with me. It don't really make a difference. Hold on. This is where I'm at over here. All right. So this right here, this picture right here, right? Sargon is Moses. That's why when you see it inside this picture right here, you understand that God is all of these individuals who liberated their people, supposedly, right? So God is a man, the ruler, right? By these laws that are followed and set down. And because of the way it's set down and followed out, they win. So I'm just looking, like I said, I'm looking for the like I said, these are the different pictures that you see back, in the Sumerian Empire. Like Gilgamesh, Enkidu. Let's go with the story. All right, because you can see right here, right? They're holding the hand. I mean, he's holding the lamb and all of that. So when you see these references, it was just a carjacking from somebody else's carjacking. You know, it was a robbery of a robbery. And because one exists because of the other, you can't remove it, right? Like if I came up with something and then you jumping in on it because of me, you can't call me out Because if you call me out, what about you? That's how that works. Because I make you official. Now, if you removing that whole system, then it doesn't matter, right? So that's why the motion of switching up is in effect. Let's view this image, right? 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 To hold the lion is to rule. To understand what you're seeing is is what matters most. Right? This is what we could have an understanding here. You know what I mean? This is what we could have an understanding here of what you are up against. Don't fall for the double talk. Don't fall for the double talk, the double speech, the bombardment of verbal control. But who controls the written word? For he who controls it controls the people. And how you tell a story, where its orientation. Where does it originate from? Once you do that, you are binding yourself to that system. Like, okay, we're gonna destroy one system and set up another. You see the revolution, right? We're gonna shut down one system. We're gonna allow you to set up. We're gonna help you, right? By you destroying that system. But that system is really under the guise of a whole other system that's not being mentioned. So it's like the Wizard of Oz. You ain't pulled down the curtain. You ain't pulled the curtain back yet to find out what's on that other side. Because remember, the whole time he's been telling you about duality. Judaism is about duality. When you see the flaw and all of these things, and they tell you it's duality, that would be a lie. The checkered floor is not about duality. Right? I'm gonna do a whole series on that because I like shutting dudes down. So I let them, oh yeah, me, no, no. That's how you fell in for their lie. I'm here to expose the liar. So if you see me refusing to say something, it's not because I want to argue with you. Like I said, I got to defend that because a lot of people they take the truth as being combative, right? They take it as being combative. So you tell them,
Listen, don't cry. Don't cry.
you were in a spell. You was in the spell. And those who say they broke the spell are now under the new spell or the bind of helping to create a new system with the promise that they can benefit from it. So, say you setting up the new system, right? In the new system, just like going into the churches, violating the kids allows, the satanic church and the basically the crippling of the Vatican, right? Not just with the lawsuits, but its growth. So now, in order for it to survive, it has to become all inclusive. It has to introduce aliens. This is how you know they're all in on it. When you start seeing even the systems that saying now we don't rock with this. Start introducing it to we gotta be understanding to the gays, and not to say that you don't. I'm saying that system has been attacked. It has been attacked. And so the rewards of one's ways and actions, whether or not, they utilize the information for good, or you might have been a Dr. York and, doing whatever you doing to children and, to whatever side, at the end of the day, what is the main objective? To destroy the system. So if you use this system, whether in no matter what way, you're using the system, the chicanery and all of that, which is controlled. That's what people don't understand. They don't understand that part right there. Real talk. They do not understand what controlled is. They'll tell you, nah, we got this. No. That's why I said I went into the spells and those type of things. That's why I did that. And prove, yeah, the whole Egyptian talk that you see in now was given. That's how you cause the shift and the confusion. Because inside of any movement, understand this, like I said, the feminist movement is already here, the gay movement is here. It's whatever, man. But so that's why I don't really go into the system that put this in place. Trust me, there's another system always set up. And so if you learn to read the Bible and not people telling you about the Bible, you would be listening to him as he was talking. You would have automatically affiliated everything he said and said, okay, he's talking about the elevation of the Bible. Cain came out with the purpose of enslaving the people. When we come back, I'm going to show you the story of Cain and Abel. Because aren't the Jews the Canaanites? Wouldn't they have derived from the Canaanites? What would be the whole story then? If they're not the Canaanites. According to the Bible, right? Yeah, Cain and Abel. Cain slew Abel. Then you had Seth. I know we're not following the story of Seth, right? So then let's investigate the story of Cain and Abel. Right? So pull up the story of Cain and Abel and understand it from, right, a totally different view. Or maybe you just wasn't thinking of any view. So maybe we'll just give this your open view. I don't want to speak for you and say what you know or don't know. I hate when people do that shit for me. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Okay, well, hold on. Go over here. The story of Cain and Abel. All right. Then let's go into Bible. I don't want you to give me your meaning. Bible online, in the Bible. Right? Boom. I want the meaning. I just want the story. What is that? Bible online, it's called, right? Bible online. Okay. Cain and Abel. Okay, Bible online. Let's see here if this will work. Yeah. Okay. Genesis. All right. Let's move this. All right. So it's Genesis 4. I'm not sure if you see it all, but you can see it from Adam. Okay. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. And Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bid his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep. Understand that, right? But Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass, pardon me, my throat hurt. Cain brought of fruit of the ground and offered unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect on Abel and his offering. The meat, right? So when people tell you this vegetarian stuff, yeah, that's for the poor. God loved the flesh, right? And that's it. So the poor had to eat, whatever. So understand that, okay? Because God is the king, right? So understand, what you were up against, right? So where it goes, Cain, right? And keep in mind, he's a shepherd, Abel, right? No, my fault. Um, yeah, Cain is for the sheep, right? Abel, right, was for the ground, right? He go right, but unto Cain in his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very. Hold on, let me go back up. Right, so it goes. Abel was the keeper of sheep. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because Cain, in that term, is saying that Cain made himself the shepherd of the people, right? Because remember, Cain, that's why you got like Jesus, right? And he's the shepherd, and this is where you get that from. So Cain went out into the world to dominate and take the people over control. I'm going to prove this. But Cain was the tiller of the ground. Remember, God didn't like Adam, and that's what he made him do. That was like something that was like a punishment. So you come in with your garden and your fruits and vegetables, like he was like, yo, listen, stuff grow all the time, man. You know what I mean? That's how he's handling it. Like stuff grows all the time. You know what I mean? He's bringing me this. So, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground, an offering, right, fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had no respect for Abel and his offering. No, my fault. I'm about to say no respect. And the Lord had respect for Abel. That's why I know I'm saying I'm bugging. Because Abel, he was like, right, he was able to please God. Cain, he was unable. A cane, how you walk with. Crippled. Unable to please the Lord. So, but unto Cain in his offering he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his contents fell. The Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why are thy contents fallen? If thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. All right. And Cain talked talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew them. So, you put into somebody, you want blood. The only way you gonna be happy, the only way the king is going to be happy is through blood. That's why Abraham no longer had to make blood sacrifices. He no longer had to make blood sacrifices for this reason. You like say you go into a land. You go into the land and you know it has to be bloody stuff. When you was like say America, situate in America, right? Situate in them. Let me go over here. Got the flag behind me anyway, right? So situate in America, you go through the Native Americans. The Africans, right? You use this blood to situate this. Then you clean yourself up. You don't have to do that no more. That's a tactic given to you right there in that book. Telling you that this is what you do to get in. Right? So you think about this, right? So we're going to go down just a little bit more. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper, like a shepherd? Right? And no, and he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. So, even the one who killed for the land will not get it either. That's why I said, the Indian giver, should we say, no offense to Native Americans, but that's the term. Like giving the land to somebody and then taking it back. It's a tactic, not developed just when they came to America. you know? Better learn that tactic. The blood from their hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee here strength, to her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be on the earth. Sent them out to rob and steal. A fugitive, a criminal, and a vagabond, right? Shall thou be on the earth. Do you understand? Hold on, my phone. I like doing things, I like doing it. Vagabond. Right? A person who wanders from place to place without a home or job. a wanderer, a nomad, traveler, gypsy. Understand these words in its description to Cain. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, they has driven me out this day from the face of the earth. Lucifer, son of the morning, out of earth. Right? And from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall, meaning that move in secret, I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. So they move in secret, right? Him, his people, the Canaanites, right? So they gotta keep they self to be in public with this mark on them, right? And mind you, they've been around with this mark, right, forever. I shall wait. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any find him should kill him. So now you have a criminal who is protected. You'll be wrong, like anything, because I trained this person to do this and to go out. He's a criminal, a fugitive, and he's protected. Lucifer, son of the morning. Behold, thou hast driven out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So you know he's a murderer and a robber who will slay his own people. And you send him out onto the earth. Right? And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in a land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he built the city and called the name of the city after his son, Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad. Irad begat, right, and begat Lamech. Lamech took unto two wives. This is important. Ada and Zillah, right, and Bed Jabal, right. Understand these names. Look, I did a whole episode on this, so I'm not going to go through it again. Sorry, right. I'm out. The next time, peace, people. You know what I mean? I hope you understand how this is working. It's going to take a little time. You know, I don't like bombarding you. You know, take time so you can understand what's really being said. With evidence and proof. That's the only thing. Without that, it ain't real, right? Peace, people. Oh, my fault. Got a little bit of time. Okay. Peace, people.